Are you irritated with God right now? It's okay. You can be honest. He's a big boy. He can handle your emotions. I have been in that place many, many, many times. And there have been so many times where I ask a billion questions because when I get frustrated, I'm like a toddler and I just have to spew all of the questions in my brain. But let me tell you about how God has taken me from that irritation and that frustration into a place of extreme blessing, and I never saw it coming. So a lot of you already know a lot of my story, but we're going to recap for the people who are new here. 2019, I lose my dog, my best friend in the whole world. 2020, my grandmother is gone. My dad gets diagnosed with an aggressive form of stomach cancer. Shortly after that, God asked me to get pregnant with another baby while my dad was going through cancer. 2021, my daughter is born, and 2022, my dad was miraculously healed of cancer. Shortly after that, was it 2022 no, it was 2023, I wrote my book because God asked me to release that, and then 6 months later, here we are. Can I just tell you how stressed I was during all of that? Can I just tell you how irritated I was and how I did not understand what he was doing, because everything seemed like it was just mass chaos and I did not understand. But now let's recap it from God's perspective. 2019, I lose my dog who was my best friend. He was my source of comfort at the time. God knew that he had to take that away from me because in 2020, when my dad was going to be diagnosed with cancer, that was when I cried out to God and I started my relationship with him, and he knew that I needed that. He knew it. And so I lost my dog because I needed to get in relationship with God after my dad was diagnosed. And then I had to get pregnant with my daughter at that time because my daughter was what gave my dad something to live for and something to fight for. And it gave our family hope during a time of really deep distress. So I have my daughter, and then my dad gets healed and everything seems to be going good, right? So then he asked me to write a book, and I write a book, and it's going good for a little bit. Like it sold a good bit more than I expected it to, but then the sales kind of dwindled, and I thought, oh, well, that assignment is over with, and everything came just to a screeching halt. I'm talking like no new revelations. I'm talking my relationship with him felt so stagnant. Nothing seemed like it was happening. And me being so used to the chaos before, like when everything went still and silent, I freaked. So then I'm sitting there thinking, well, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do? What button do I need to push to get out of this pit? And it turns out that God had pressed pause because he was doing things behind the scenes that I couldn't see that was going to lead us to today. And now he has asked me to sell the book again on TikTok, and that's going crazy. But the reason why that's going crazy is because it's helping fund this other thing that he already had in the works. And it's just blowing my mind to see how he works. But like when I look back at it and I see how every single thing was perfectly organized and perfectly synchronized, the timing was impeccable, And I never would have realized that if I had gotten stuck in this mindset of, oh, poor me, God's not listening to me, everything bad is happening to me, I don't get it, I don't understand. If I hadn't been seeking him and looking for him through that, then I never would have been able to see the forest for the trees. But there's a verse in the Bible that says that even when we are faithless, God is still faithful. So even when I was faithless for my situation to work out well, even when I didn't understand, even when I was confused, God was still faithful to work it all out for my good. And if he can do it for me, I know he can do it for you. I know he can. And I know he will. But don't make the same mistake that I made of questioning every little thing. Just know that he is working it for you. Everything he's doing is for your benefit because he's a good dad who loves you. And if you don't know him as a good dad and you don't have a good relationship with him and you really truly don't understand and you want to know, take it from me, I learned a lot through those 3 years where he was just kind of untangling all of the wrong beliefs I had and replacing it with his love and his goodness and his kindness. And like I mentioned before, he asked me to write a book about it. So I did. This is 7 Days to a Life of Limitless. It's everything I learned over a 3-year period of pressing into God. And y'all, you don't need this book to get to know him, because all of these videos on my page are free. I have talked about this for 2 years on my page, okay? So you don't need this, but if you want the fast track, if you want to have all that information in one place, if you want to learn from someone else's mistakes so that you don't make the same mistakes, then you might want to check out a copy of this. I have signed copies on TikTok Shop and on my website, but if you don't care about signed copies and you want fast, free shipping, it's also on Amazon. And if I run out here on TikTok Shop, don't worry, because I restock every single day, so just check back tomorrow.